Okay, I'm Geodab, and in this video what we're going to do is start creating the AnimTree for the wheeled vehicle. Now I say start for the simple reason it can be a long procedure, and obviously you may not want to do everything that I'm going to be doing during the tutorials. So what I'm going to do is just split it up and do it section by section, and then you can watch the bits that you think you need. Okay, so start off. As you can see here, the package isn't sort of bold, so we'll just quickly fully load it. There we go, everything turns nice bright white. And what we're going to do is create the initial AnimTree. So I'm going to do this. Right click. Can we create it from there? No. It says AnimSet but not AnimTree. Okay. I just want to show you that because some people do make the mistake. So just right click in a space not on one of the icons. Go up. Create a new AnimTree. Now we're going to put this in group anims. And we're going to call it, let's see, AT for AnimTree, BH for vehicle, BC because it's Blender content, and it's the car. Okay, try and keep things nice and simple. Hit return and off we go. No, that should not be doing that because for some reason it's made an AnimSet. Okay, get rid of that, don't want that. Right, so what happened there? I must have slipped up one. Okay, new AnimTree. I'm sure it said AnimTree there, so try again. Anims AT underscore BH underscore PC underscore car. Okay, that's better. So this is what you get to start off with. If you've never done an AnimTree before, this is what you get, and you're like, I can't see anything. Simple. Alright, before we do anything here, we have to set up what mesh we're going to use. So here in this section, click it to open it. It says AnimTree template. No, don't want that. I'll just move this up a little bit for the moment. I'm going to have to expand it a bit more later, but so what we're looking for at the moment is preview mesh list. Now that could mean you could be adding more preview meshes. Not something I've tried, but must be possible. Right, so what we're going to do is see the little green cross, add a new item. Click on that. Okay, preview mesh list, number 0, name, preview skeleton mesh. This is what we need. So we go back into our package, into the mesh section, highlight, left click and highlight the car, the skeletal mesh, and then use select object in content browser. There we go, and here we now see our car. Smashing. Do we need to do anything else with that at this moment in time? No. Right, so we'll close that down. Open this up a touch. Gives a bit more space because we're going to need it. Now, to get the AnimTree to work, what you need to do is add the bones. Now, if I just, that's not going to come out very clear, as you can tell. But we have to add these bones into this list here. Okay, let's get rid of that. So what we do is very quickly is, whilst this selected, right click on it, add skeleton control chain. Now if you click that, you start getting the bone names, and we're going to have to very quickly try, if you can, to keep the bones while they're being added here in some form of order. Okay, now straight away we've got their weapon yaw. I don't want to do that at the moment. Or should I? Just to split things up a little bit, yeah. Okay, we'll put that one in there. Pitch, yes. This is where it starts going to take time. Do we want the spot to spin? We don't need that. We won't need it later either. And all I'm doing here now is for the suspension bones. Now, if you didn't bother watching my blender video on rigging this, I'll have to very quickly show you something. Alright, we don't need the damage bones either, so that's suspension, fine. Now, if I get in here quickly and try and zoom in a little bit, you will see my axles. Alright, we can call these axles if you want, the suspension, if you want to term it otherwise, does not line up with the center of my wheels. Now this because when you export, same at the back, you can just about see it there, when you export your wheeled vehicle mesh, the wheels or the wheels and the wheel bones have to be at the very bottom of their displacement, because as soon as it initiates, it goes up to, let's say, a certain weight, whatever. Just imagine that your vehicle has been sat up on one of these car lift things and the wheels are just dangling down. That's how you want it exported, so that when you put it down onto the ground, the wheels level up. Okay, now what we're going to do in this video, right, I've already shown you this, but all I'm going to concentrate on now is the skeletal controllers that we require to get the vehicle in and test it. Alright, so I'm not going to bother with the suspension for the moment. I'm not going to bother with your morph targets. I'm not going to bother with your animation. I'm not going to bother with the death meshes and damage things and all the rest of it. Per example, Scorpion, AnimTree. Now, have a look at this. Are you ready for this? Well, you can't even show it fully on here. Right, there's you got your morphs, you got your animations, you got skeletal control wheels, you got skeletal control lookouts. These are for the axles. Yeah. And you got all sorts of other things, damage springs, and let's see what else we got. Damage control hood, damage hinge, damage springs. What was the other one that I was looking for? Turret constraint. That's something else that we're going to do this time round. I'm not going to do skeletal control damage, because to be honest, at this moment in time we don't need it. Personally, I don't use it on my own vehicles. If you want to, have a look, see how it's set up, try it out, and you'll probably find, if you look at this, on death, be active, on death static mesh, which means when the car dies, then a wheel goes flying off. Okay, simple as that. But what we're going to do is the skeletal control for the wheels. So, right, what do we do? In an open space here, right click, new skeletal control, single bone, scale control wheel. Now you can look down and you don't find one of these under the UDK, and you don't find them under the UT. It is pretty much the base setup for wheeled vehicles. Okay, so we're just going to slap one of them in there. Now to move these around, select it, hold control, and we're going to whack it in. Just wire it up like that, and just pulling a wire from there to there. Now what do we need here? Well, let's move this up I know it's going to be going up and down like a yo-yo, but wheel displacement, let me just, I'll be honest, it's been a while since I've done this, so preparation and planning prevents piss poor performance, which is all you're going to get from me. Okay, right, so what we're going to do is just compare what we have here in the default with the Scorpion. Displacement 0. Wheel max render displacement, that's at 15. On the default, it's on 50. Maximum displacement that the wheel will be rendered at. Use to avoid graphical clipping of the wheel to the chassis. I'll tell you what, we'll change that to 15 just like the Scorpion to be on the safe side. How about that one? Right, next one. It says wheel roll axis. Now if you look here, you will see the wheel roll axis is Y. Exactly like it is on ours. So we don't want X, we want Y. The steering axis Z. That is correct. Now what else we got here? Because, don't do that to me. What else we got here? Invert steering. Well, you can do if you got. A few people might ask what's that for. If you've ever seen a six-wheeler where you've got the wheels displaced evenly along the vehicle, you got the front wheel steering, and you can have the back wheel steering as well. But obviously, you don't want it to turn in the same direction. E.g., if you're looking at this, if you turn left, that wheel's going to go around that way. And then you'd want the back one to go around that way. So you could do that there. Okay? So we've got that. What else do we need to do? Let me just double check. Apply translation rotation. That's on the default. Good. Controller name. Come back to that in a moment. Performance. If it's not rendered, yeah, fine. Live with that. Skeletal control base. Nothing to worry about there. Now, as you can see, all I do is see what Epix gave us and copy it. Okay? Now that makes things a lot easier for us if we're trying to find faults. Yeah? Because I know I'm burbling here a little bit, but we know this works. You can put one of these in a map, well, a Scorpion active vehicle factory in a map, drive it around, you go, yeah, that all works fine, why doesn't mine? So you put yours in there as well, drive it around, and you go, ooh, well that's not working, why isn't it working? Compare this with this, and compare your code for each. I mean, when we get to the coding, we're going to be using the Scorpion code anyway, but just to make sure you get the workflow up and ready. Now the main thing that we have here, let's just have a quick look. 1.2.2 linear. Let's have a look here. 1.2.2 linear. Yep, fine. I can close that one down because I don't need it anymore. The only thing that we need here is the controller name. Now why do you need a controller name? Because it's called by code. And we'll show this, well, I'll show this when we get to the code section. So what we're going to call it? Well, I would advise it to be a little bit original, but let's see, SCW, no, that was an S. Oh, okay, let's do this proper, shall we? Skill control. Well, hang on. Let me just get my UDK installs. Not in the binaries, you fool. DevCorp classes. Now I should have. No, I haven't got it here. Okay, fine. Okay, scale control wheel, and we'll go BC and left hand front. Okay, happy about that. That's the name of that. Now, as you can see here, we need 4 of these. Okay, so Control C to copy, or you can do it this way. Alright, and then Control V to paste, and to paste. Alright, I know what you're thinking. They've all got the same controller name. Well, that's the lovely thing about having your things set up correctly, or your naming. So all I do is go in there and let's just check right hand front. Okay, don't want the whole lot selected. So right hand front, thank you. Make sure right hand front, right hand front. Okay. So left hand rear, I can just do that. Left hand, just make sure left hand rear, left hand rear, right. Okay, and that one will be right hand rear, correct? Yes, smashing. Okay, now what I do suggest is, I'm not going to do it right now, is that you actually let me see, best way to put this, make a note of these, because if you type them wrong in your code, it's not going to work right. Okay, quick warning. Now let's zoom out a little bit. Now what else do we need for the very, very basic AnimTree? Next thing we need is the controls for the weapon. Okay, so we got BC, car, weapon, yaw, and pitch. Okay, skeletal control and single bone, and where is it? Turret constrained. Right, so what we're going to do here, now I'm not going to play, because of the way my thing's set up, what I want to do is to control the bone here and the bone there. Alright, so I'm going to need 2 controllers. I'll just move this up. First thing I'm going to do is name it BC car your weapon your. Well, what I can do here is right at the beginning is let's just call it a TC, turret control, or turret constrained. This is just purely to make sure that I don't have any copied names within the game. Okay. Right, so what else we got? Rotation, add rotation. We might have to come back and tweak some of these because it can be a little bit quirky. Okay, fix when firing, no. Reset when unattended. Put a tick in there. I think we might need that. Associated seat index 0. Yes, that if you got more than 1 seat, then that could be very, very important. Now, constrained. Right, what do we want? Well, we don't want this. All we want is this bone here that we're going to constrain. Let's just link it up into the yaw. All we want that is to yaw. Okay, that's swing from left to right. So what we're going to do is constrain the pitch, constrain the yaw, and constrain the roll. Now, we go down to max angles and minimum angles. So what's the max angle? If we're constraining the pitch, we need to leave the max and minimum angles at 0. Same again for the roll. Alright, but we're wanting to do the yaw So what we're going to do, the max angle is, let's see if I get this the right way around, 45, and the min angle being minus 45. Now, like I say, we might have to go in and change that, because I might have got that the wrong way round. Well, in fact, let's go on. I don't really like jumping back into different packages that you don't have, but unfortunately in this case I'm gonna have to. Let's have, see, mine looks a little bit more complicated. Yeah, I just done the one there, so and just constrain the pitch for some reason. Let me just see here, max 0 and 65. That's probably why that doesn't work very well. Okay, we'll leave that there. Right, so we'll do that. We'll try it out in game. Now that's all I'm going to do with that. And what I'm going to do is copy, paste. I'm going to link that up to the pitch. First thing to do is change the name. Pitch. And what we're going to do here is set the yaw to 0. Yaw to 0. Now the max up angle on the pitch, I think we'll go for sort of like 30, and the minimum being minus 30. Now, like I say, if we're having problems when I get this actually in game and we have problems, then we can actually come back and start tweaking these and say, yeah, okay, I've got it the wrong way round, just in case. Right, now I think I've burbled on long enough for the moment. So this is pretty much, let's just close this down. This is pretty much the very, very basic AnimTree that you will require to have a wheeled vehicle in game. Yeah, and I'm going to leave it as this until we get the coding done and we get things tried and tested in game, and then I'm going to come back and then we're going to look at how to put an animation on, which is going to be the gun spinning when we fire. We're going to put in the morph targets, and what else was I thinking of? Death meshes, things like that, and have it all linked up via the AnimTree. And obviously we need the code in place as well to show these things. Okay, so I'll leave it at that, and hopefully the next few videos we're going to actually start getting this in game and testing it. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye bye now. Come on.